Hi, my name is John Flett. I'm a pediatrician who spends my time exclusively solving problems for children at home and at school. So, have you ever wondered why your child is struggling, mainly at school? And here's why you might be missing something. And I'd like you to listen to the end, and I'm going to help you come up with some strategies so that we can work out. And as parents said to me yesterday, I don't want a script for medication. I want to understand my child. I want to be able to understand so I can set in motion a path of action to solve these problems. So have you ever sat back and wondered, why does my child find school so hard? Maybe you've noticed that they're struggling to keep up in the class, or perhaps that they're finding it tough to make friends. You might even be asking yourself, why is my child so different from other kids, even your own other siblings or your child's brothers and sisters? You might even suspect that maybe it's the teacher. Maybe, last year's teacher was great, but this year's teacher, I'm not sure they gel. Or maybe you think it's a health problem. You're out there buying vitamins, supplements. You think they've got a health issue that's causing the problem. You might even be blaming yourself as a parent. Thinking, I don't spend enough time at home. I'm a working mother or a father, and I'm distant, and I come home. You might have self-incrimination. You might be blaming yourself. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. So listen to the end, and I'm going to help you understand these things. So a lot of parents go through these feelings of being worried or even frustrated because their child doesn't seem to fit the mold. You think they're different. And you think maybe it's the schooling system that's a problem. Maybe they consistently just daydreaming in class, or they can't sit still, no matter how hard they try. I see parents come in and they don't see how busy their child is. You get used to it. When your child is your child, you just see them for who they are. You don't see that they are so busy, active. It's only when they get into contact at school with their other friends and peers that there might be a bit of a different opinion. And if this is your first child, well, who do you compare them to? They might get upset easily, or have a hard time following instructions, listening, tuning into you. And while other kids seem to glide through school, your child might be struggling with homework, feeling overwhelmed, or just shutting down altogether. But so here's the thing. It's not that your child won't focus or behave. It might be that they can't because their brain works differently. And there are 3 reasons for this. If your child has ADHD, your child has inherited this problem in over 85% of cases right from birth. There's someone else in the family that often had some similar difficulties. It's a brain difference. Your child looks normal. One's got to learn to see the invisible. You've got to learn to see inside. If you could see inside, the chemistry and the front part of the brain is different. Your child doesn't have full access to their self-control. It is a chemical problem. It doesn't help just talking. You can talk until you're blue, and your child doesn't do. Because ADHD is a doing problem, not a knowledge problem. You can tell them what to do. They even intuitively know what they should be doing, but they don't do it. Now, I know that people hear ADD or ADHD and they often think of a child who's just hyperactive, bouncing off the walls, always getting into trouble. But ADHD is much more than that. Sometimes it shows up as a child who's constantly losing things, forgetting what they should do. They will remember what you promised them 6 months, 2 days, 2 hours, 2 minutes and 1 second ago. But they can't remember what you told them 2 seconds ago to remember. Go up to their room, pick up their jersey, get their bag, and get ready for school. So Other times, it's a child who can't control their emotions, getting frustrated, upset over things that seem so small to anybody else, have difficulty socially. They have difficulty controlling those big emotions, big range of emotions. At home, you might notice things differently too. Maybe they're incredibly creative, curious, or full of energy. But then you can't seem to finish anything, or they struggle with routines that other children find easy. It's not about being lazy, naughty, or careless. It's about their brains needing a different approach. And once you understand that, everything else starts to make more sense. So if you've ever thought, why does my child struggle at school? Or why do they find it hard to get along with other children? It might be time to look deeper. ADHD could be the part of the puzzle that you haven't addressed. And understanding it helps you support your child in the needs they have. Your child isn't broken. They don't need to be fixed. They're just wired differently. And with the right support and the right assessment, finding out all those other things that go together with it. I find parents that they've had their children on medication. They've had years of occupational therapy, and yet they're still struggling. If this sounds like your child could be having these problems, remember, it's not about finding the medicine, it's finding the right solutions, looking at things holistically, making sure that their diet, their physical activity, their health, their sleeping. And yes, medication might be a part of that solution, but everybody needs a different approach. So for more tips and insights, let us take this further. If you have any difficulties, please don't hesitate to contact us, because this is what we do.